what is reality? Obviously, no one can say because it isn't words. It isn't material, that's just an idea. Reality is... cannot be explained in words.
I'm blue, blaza, bleeza, don't blind, blada, blee, blada, bly, blada, bleeda, blah, bly. Welcome to Really, though. Yes, bro. What's up, man? What's up, Nesto?
Dude, man, just surviving. Just out here surviving, brother.
Man, bro, the earth keeps getting weirder and weirder.
I know,
Tonight
man.
we're going to talk about something else. But it's, you know,
yeah.
everything we talk about on this show is weird, dude. This is Really, though. We don't get to talk about fucking movies and video games and fucking, you know what I mean? Like the fun stuff and rap music. This is where we get to the hardcore. We're seeking the hardcore truth, man.
Yeah. It's difficult, dude.
It is, bro. I mean,
it is.
You know, and this is what I was thinking about. We always encourage the search party to email us, right?
Right.
And this is the analogy I have, bro. I got 2 little kids, right?
Yeah.
And they live in my world.
Right.
So, whatever we're doing, like today, we want to stay home and play. Fuck you, we're going to Costco. So they have to get in the car and go where I go. Period, right?
Right.
But often, let's say like we're going to go have dinner somewhere. You know, they'll get a chance. We'll say, hey, children, what would you like to eat today? Because a lot of times it's like, we are going to this Italian restaurant we like. You better eat some spaghetti, motherfucker. Right?
Right.
But sometimes we say, hey, little children, what would you like to eat? And then they say, I want cheeseburgers, or I want pizza, or, you know, the kid stuff, nuggets. Right. And then they get it, right?
Right.
So guess what, search party? Whenever we put out an email to you, we say ReallyThoPodcast at gmail.com. That's your chance to say what you want to eat. But until then, you're in the backseat, and me and Nesto are fucking driving, and we will control the radio. We will control the temperature. And we are going where we're going. And you're along for the goddamn ride. You understand me?
I think, but that's a positive thing too, though, bro. Like, yeah. I'm trying to see it as positive because we must be doing something that's enjoyable enough for them to just relax and listen to us banter about.
True.
You know, we might be hitting points that it's like, yeah, let's just listen to these wild niggas talk, you know, versus
we don't agree at all.
They would hit on. Yeah, because, bro, think about this. Think about this. I mean, I know. It's a rare thing for a show to be focused on finding the truth, right? In this day and age, like to have that as a goal within different things that are going on and philosophies and go, well, yeah, but what's the truth? Let's listen to different sides. Well, it almost seems like what we said a few episodes back. Dude, we've almost gotten there because we've gotten to the realization that there's many truths. There's so many different, it's just like what you just said right then about the kids are in your world. There are so many groups, and I don't think I recognize it as much as I have during this lockdown that we're in, that, wow, everyone really is in their own world. And to them, that world has its own rules, its own things that you abide by, its own guidelines. And if you're in that world with those people, dude, you will be extremely uncomfortable if you buck up against the rules set in their world. Like, you can't stretch outside of that because they're not open to it. So then there's some people that have a broader worldview. You get up in there and you see, oh, It allows different ideas of thought and things to roll around. And then there's some people that they're not bubbled at all. They're just kind of like we are. That's what I feel like the search party is. We are in the actual simulation. We realize that. And we're going, hey, man, there's a lot going on in this bitch.
Let's see what's up.
Yeah, let's see what we can do, man.
No doubt.
Yeah, dude. So it's not even like, I don't know. You know the whole thing of discovering who you are, where you come from, who made you. I don't know, bro. I mean, I think we may hit on topics like that, like in the future. We may, like, let's make a point. Let's just deal with this one thing. But then there's the side of, we did already. We hit on so much of this shit the first couple of months that we started.
Yeah.
Bro. And then it just phased into, look what's going on in our world, and we got to discuss what's happening, and you know what I mean?
And today,
so it's not like we've been leaving out shit or holding stuff back. That's what I'm trying to say.
Not like at all, bro.
When you open yourself like we're opening ourselves, then dude, there's so many answers that come, and they may be disappointing, is what I'm saying. Like, they may not be the thing that you're like, this is it. It's almost like in Prometheus, when that motherfucker finally found, who made us, the architects. And then he was like, who are you, what? And then just ripped that dude's head off. And it's like, they don't care about you.
They don't care at all.
All that searching.
And might I say, Nesto, that not only is that a well said, well thought out thing you just said, but you look more handsome and intelligent saying it in that shirt that you're wearing right now. I mean,
bro.
You know what I'm saying? Look at these shirts, man. How can anybody not want to order one of these Really Though shirts, man? We both got our Really Though official logo t-shirt on right now.
Yeah. We're here for you. We're here for you.
And we're excited.
Post this. I'm going to prop this up.
Yeah, man. So, you got to get in the description, Really Though merch store. And just, cop a tee, get some socks. My man Long Walker got his shirt and his socks.
He got the socks too. Oh, we gotta have him take a picture of it. That's
sweet, bro. You put them together and it forms the logo, man.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, man. I think we talked about not doing the whole politics thing today. We've spent a lot of weeks on that.
Yeah,
I got a few ideas brewing on my mind, but I guess we got to spend a couple of minutes. So here's where I want to start, and then I want to hear what you have to say about it. Okay.
Okay.
This is how I feel. Okay. I have extended a lot of grace to the side that says that Trump won the election. Okay. We're here searching for what's really real. We presented we presented a lot of what people are saying last week. We try to present both sides, like, the left is saying this, the right is saying this.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you and I, Ernest, fell on the side of bring the fucking facts to court, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So even back then, it was already popping like this. To this day, Ernest, Rhea, I believe that we're up to 29 lawsuits, and 28 of them have been booted out of court due to zero evidence.
Really?
Unless I'm listening to the fucking liberal media. The thing that, so here's what I'm saying. In the search for what's really real, we allow ourselves to look at all of this information. Alternate news sources such as OAN or whatever the fuck those are, or whatever's out there. We say we look at it. The way that these people making videos or people showing documents or people showing this, the way they show it, it seems to present somewhat of a compelling case where you're like, oh, okay, so yeah, let them have their day in court, right?
Right.
But that's not happening in court from what I'm seeing. They keep talking about, hey, they didn't let the guys watch you while you counted the votes. They put them in the back room or whatever. Or these types of things that keep getting thrown out of court. the way I see it, if that Dominion software really was what they said it was, that should have been the first lawsuit. That should have, and maybe I'm ignorant to what has been presented in court, and I'm open to that. But what I'm seeing is a bunch of nonsense and a bunch of like Rudy Giuliani fucking on TV sweating out his goddamn hair dye because he's out of his league. He's grasping for straws, man.
Oh wow.
So that's my perspective is like everybody's saying put up or shut up, and you're not putting up. So to me, it's like time to shut up. So I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
Let's assume that the cabal is real, that Pizzagate is real, that Hunter Biden's laptop is real, and Joe Biden is this. All this wicked elite, the elites, the pedophiles, it's all real. Let's assume that's real, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume all that wild shit is real, okay? Maybe Trump is just not the guy. Okay, guys? All you people who believe the fucking Q-sters and the Trumpsters and the tearing down the cabal people, all right, whatever. Great. The cabal is there. Trump is not your guy. He's not the guy to get the job done. You thought maybe you thought he was, okay?
Yeah,
In my opinion, he ain't your guy. He had a chance to show and he didn't do it. He had 4 years to do whatever the fuck you thought he was going to do, and he didn't do it. Now, I know a lot of people voted for him for other reasons. They're like, hey, economics or whatever the fuck they liked him for, right? Cool.
Right.
Cool. But guess what? He's not doing any of that shit. Nobody got arrested. No big scandals. No big things got torn down. I don't know. Maybe. And if, let's say, if he believes in that cause and he's privy to information that could expose, he's still not your guy because he's not powerful enough or wise enough or tricky enough to be able to overthrow whatever you think needs to be overthrown.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's it for me, man. That's all I got to say. What do you guys say about your boy?
Yeah, I haven't, like I've said on the show before, I haven't believed in the power and legitimacy of the presidency, period, in such a long time, because I always felt like the purest of people are not going to be able to step into, a centuries old, like, system and tear it down legally. It's like, these guys created the game. You're not going to walk into the game and change the game. It doesn't matter how pure you are. So people that have, we're right now talking over some people's heads. Maybe not the people that are listening to us, but just in the fact of there are a lot of people that believe in the system of government and presidency as being pure. They, regardless of how it was intended or how it was first birthed, which there's a lot of controversy on that throughout the years. But regardless of that, even if it was, let's say, as like your example, let's just say in a world where everything is pure, all the people that signed the Declaration of Independence were on the up and up. Everybody that was doing the Bill of Rights and created our government, purest of intent, started in motion, the greatest. Well, guess what? We're in 2020. That shit did not hold from that time, purity, all the way up to this time. Regular businesses change management, change ownership. I mean, so much shit happens on the low end, let alone in the government where you're dealing with people like this amount of people and control and other countries and wars, all of that stuff, dude. So I just haven't trusted the system in general. Right. Like when I've talked to some people that, really hate Trump, and I would even not even jump on the wagon of not even play the devil's advocate. Like, no, really, if you look at this quote, he didn't say that. I'd go like this: how did he get into office then? Well, no. There's no well. We're talking about a guy that was the same guy before he got in. How did a guy like that make it in? You got to look at the system that we have. It is bullshit. Just the fact, we even talked about this before, just the fact that Kanye West could run on a ticket and be considered legitimate, where if people actually voted, this nigga could have been elected. The fact we live in a world that that's possible, to me, says this is a game show, guys. And it's one that we've all bought into. And that's the only reason it runs the way that it does. So many people believe it. So many people. So I'm at the point, what I'm seeing now is I believe that it doesn't matter what the evidence is. I saw a buddy of mine who posted about where somebody was saying, well, what happened to the Hunter Biden emails? How come the right isn't like reinforcing that? How did that just disappear? Disappear? Nobody cared.
Yeah, and you guys took it off. The Twitter, everybody was like, fuck that. We're not even allowing that in.
What a ridiculous post. And I read that and I'm thinking, are you kidding me? As if we just threw it out and then was like, well, who cares? Let's try something else. No, it got shut down. People got shut down for even mentioning it. Legitimate news entities were silent. Right? So this all says to me a lot, bro. It says that even if, like what you said with Trump, even if he was a pure dude within certain bounds and trying to get some good stuff done, this is proof he has zero power. Unless a gang of shit is happening, like QAnon said, behind the scenes that we don't know about, and this is a cover-up. Well, I feel like this. The purest thing for the American people, this is just me. Of course, I have no power, and I'm not in these positions to make decisions. If I saw certain things handed to me, I might go, wow, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, or maybe this shouldn't be brought out. But me, just how I see it right now, the American people should see and hear the truth. If people are doing wrong, they should be exposed. They should be arrested. We should see all that. If these certain people got arrested, it would shake the fabric of the, it would abrupt all the systems of, there's a lot of stuff that QAnon was saying that we felt like, no, dude, come on. Why would you hide this amount of truth when it can really free a lot of people? Well, it's going to cause people to wild out. They're going to wild out anyway. We're going to have that. So this recent shit that's been going on, because I've been looking at both sides too. And then I just shut down everything and just try not to even care, because I'm on the point of like, well, let's just see. Yeah. Because it'll be a funny thing on both sides. If Biden actually gets into the office, then we're like, what happened to all this shit? The rallies, the Trump shit, all the election fraud. How in the world did that get erased? Y'all niggas lost even after all of that? It would be really wild on the Trump people. Like, damn, man. Y'all had a lot of memes. Y'all had a lot of support and a lot of
memes.
Cheer. Yeah, bro. They
a lot of memes.
Going at it with, hey,
big
still
time.
the president and da-da-da. I see a lot of that shit. And then on the left side, you look at the liberals, their situation would be even worse because their celebrations in the streets and all the shit they were doing was so hardcore, because even just in a regular election, you don't wild out at this point. I mean, unless it's a landslide, and there wasn't a landslide that Biden won by, and most of them don't even like Biden. So that's why this would be even more hysterical to me if this nigga didn't get in, because it's like, y'all didn't really want him to anyway. It's just everybody hates Trump.
Right.
So there will be a lot of crying and tears and probably riots that would happen if all the truth came out with it was voter fraud and da-da-da-da. No one will accept that. They're not going to.
Right.
Not only will they not accept him as the president, they're not going to accept that there were people bad enough to do voter fraud, right?
Right.
Yet, that's what they said happened that got him into office. That's what the Russians did, the whole collusion, and that's what they've been saying for 4 years. So we understand that it's a choice of candidates, how people, where their faith lies and their belief.
Right.
So, dude, I saw the Rudy Giuliani press conference. I'm looking at both sides. I'm looking at memes and people's posts, and it's like, wow. I mean, one thing that I saw that was kind of comical is Facebook put Biden no longer as president-elect. It literally says politician on his website.
Well, do you think that happened because they've been pulled into them Senate hearings, like all them, like they've been catching hell,
I know, but why though? That's the whole point that we're saying. Like, the pressure that's coming on them, it's very interesting that they would buckle even just a little bit, because they're billionaires and it's already done. You know what I mean? This is when they kind of coast, because all that they've done has been enough to get us where we are politically. They believe their candidate won, so now it really doesn't matter. So even them going into, hearings and everything.
But it's not just about the candidate. It matters to them as companies, because if the Senate keeps putting the kind of pressure, they can potentially,
It's not going to affect them though, bro. They got too much money and everybody loves it. Even though there's a lot of, right-wing people that are hopping over to Parler and like another. Yeah, there's a gang of people that are doing that type of thing, but Facebook is still going to be mad popular because the quote-unquote important people are still on it, right? Still support it, still
and
back
a gang
it.
of the conservative people are still going to stay on Facebook and Twitter and shit too, and just put up with the shit.
Complain and yeah. But I just don't think billionaires like that, Zuckerberg and then home dude with Twitter, they don't give a shit, bro. If we're in a generation that has this level of disrespect for the presidency, because it's like clown type shit. Like, I remember a generation that I grew up under where we respected our adults. You didn't say certain shit about certain offices. You just really didn't. You know what I mean? Unless it was personal. Comedians maybe did, but not like across the board. Everybody just slamming authority, cops and everything. Yeah. Dude, we're in a whole different world right now. We're mad reckless, and we don't even realize the quote unquote freedom we have to not just get shot up in the face or arrested. You remember when they would tap phones, and if you were saying some shit about the president, FBI would call you. Somebody would stop at your house. There would be wild shit like that. I remember seeing reports of that. Nothing like that's going on. For Twitter to go, nope, we don't want to hear you talk anymore. Nope, this tweet, nope, ban. Nope, matter of fact, anyone who's saying that, ban. What? Homie. Yeah. That's the world that we're in right now. This is it. In closing, all I got to say is I still don't know. I'm the same that I have been. I'm not taking a side. I'm just interestingly watching the post that gets sent my way, looking at both sides. I love the fact, to an extent, I love the fact that I'm non-biased, so I really can look at both sides and go, oh, shit, I wonder what they say about this, and then hop over to the other side and go, oh, wow. This is literally two different worlds that you can live in, bro. And they both seem mad legitimate because of the portion that they're covering. You know what I mean? The portion of information. What they show you. Yeah. So it's just like editing. That's what I think got me when I think about career-wise, as I was learning, to how to be a filmmaker and direct, and I'm still growing and learning. But the piece that I got when I learned how to edit made it like next level, dude. It made me on set feel like a G. Like I was so not stressed no matter what. Because
in a large way, the editor tells the story in a very large way. No matter what's shot, no matter what the script says.
Homie, they can laugh at your whole process. You can be a writer. I want this to be said. I want da-da-da. And everyone approves it. All the money comes in. The actors memorize your lines. They even shoot all that shit. Comes down to the editor. No, that doesn't work. No, it doesn't flow in with this. Well, wait a minute. We spent all this money. There was years backing the script. Everyone read everything, acted it all out together at the table read, and you're telling me now that you're editing it, you're going to take out that whole scene? Nigga, they drop whole scenes, bro, that they spent a ton of money on. And I've even seen there's movies where an actor had a cameo and then he got paid to be in just that scene. They took the whole scene out.
Yeah, sometimes those actors, those cameos end up in the trailer. And then when the movie goes, hey, man, I thought Brad Pitt was in this movie. Like, nah,
like,
son.
no.
Cut
no,
that.
exactly. No explanation. They don't got to answer to you. They don't got to say
the
shit.
editor,
And
yeah, because he's just in a room in Burbank, just on the computer, like, fuck you.
And no one slams the editor or gets pissed at wait a minute, the editing of something. Like, you never hear that type of shit.
Unless the
director gets
fighting.
the praise or gets slammed, or the writer sometimes. That's
True.
it.
And that's what we got. We got scripted out shit with people editing what comes to us.
Yes,
and that's why it can be so like encapsulated, these little echo chambers, because
exactly.
You can take a whatever. It could be a big piece of information that's available to all.
Yeah.
But because you stay in one circle, then you're presenting only part of it that fits your narrative.
Right. And that's why I wish we had a narrative, bro. Because we'd be so safe, dude. We would be so on top of the world if we chose one side hardcore and ran with it. Like the other side doesn't exist. And any kind of evidence or thing they bring, we go, whatever, and we just slam it down.
That's what everybody else is doing right now, man. The fucking 10,000 person Million Man MAGA March. That's what they were doing out there.
Yeah.
Voter fraud.
Yeah, hardcore, bro. That's a lot of Americans that believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot. He had a lot of voters.
Most of that, he did 71 million, and most of them fools are just at the crib though. Like, let's just see how it shakes out. Like, they're down to, because that's the guy they voted for. So they're like, well, I mean, it doesn't seem like he won, but let's just wait it out and see what happens. So that those people are silent. Then you got the Trumpsters that are out there with the flags and shit, and then you got the other side.
And then think about this. There's a group of Americans that are somewhat like us, where, they didn't like Trump, but they really don't like this bullshit lockdown that's coming and the forced vaccination. It's like, okay with the Trump glory, but hold on now. Let's not start dipping into this. Is a little extreme. And those people, I think, if Biden makes it in, we're gonna see some pushback that maybe the forces that be weren't prepared for. They thought it would be a lot more smooth. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Not everybody's with this whole, take our Thanksgiving, take our Christmas, and force some shit down our throat that's supposed to be 5 years tested before it gets injected in a human.
Right.
Come on.
So, and I think that I think Biden at this point, I don't even think it's an if for me. I think he'll be sworn in.
Okay.
The if is, I would be incredibly surprised if somehow Trump proves something in court that could literally make this shit turn. It's not going to turn. Right. And they talk so stupid. Giuliani is about as stupid as Trump with the way they talk. And it's like, you can't write this. It's like Curb Your Enthusiasm, bro. But Larry David, as genius as he is, could not write this shit. This motherfucker Giuliani on stage sweating his hair dye out of his hair. It's like fucking Pence, a fly lands on his head. It's like, you cannot, bro. Even if they were right, there's too much clown session, too many memes, too much jokes.
I know. Yeah.
If he was saying something really strong and then you just see his hair dye sweating down his face, it's like, man, I don't even hear what you're saying no more. But he's not saying anything good. That's the point. Anyway, I will be very surprised. Like, extremely surprised if some weird Trump shit happened.
Really?
It's just not going to happen. I don't think so. And there's a lot of people still telling me, nah, bro, don't trip. We still got this. Watch what's going to happen. But that's what I keep feeling like. The narrative on the Twitter streets or out here on these streets and the fucking internet, it seems like a stronger narrative than what's actually being presented in the courts. So how you going to win?
Yeah.
You going to start with your weakest shit?
okay, let me say this. One last caveat I want to drop in is I feel like if Trump wins, okay, the country reopens, there's not like the forced vaccination, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like what you said, the cabal is not going to be taken down. That's going to be stretched out for the length of his presidency, the remaining 4 years, talk and possibilities. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of human trafficking stuff that I've been following. I don't talk about much on here or whatever, and I haven't posted about it. That's some good stuff. But I do my research backing it up. Did these things really happen? It's a lot of wild shit going on in that space. So that I will give props to whoever's behind that. There's a lot of boots on the ground, and there's some stuff that supposedly Trump is ordering. So that I'll give praise to. But then on the flip side, I'll say this. I feel like personally, if Biden gets into office, because Trump's out, I almost feel like the forces that are still against the darkness may rise up stronger, and there might be some convictions that come forward and some other stuff, because now there's not the world of there won't be that divide and excuse of Trump.
The circus. The circus will have left town. Yeah.
And it's like now the spotlight's on everybody. I feel like they don't realize that you lock us up longer, more people are going to start going, what happened with Jeffrey Epstein's island and the convictions and the flight law? There's going to be a lot of questions that they used to be able to say, oh, that's Trump people asking. No, now it's not just them asking anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a part of me that kind of feels like even if they get him out, there could be some wild stuff that happened that they weren't prepared for.
Well, we'll see. And either way, we still in for a wild ass next 4 years and beyond, right?
Right, dude.
But let me ask you this. Trump, he is who he is, right?
Right.
Like, we talked about this, and we talked about saying man, if he would have treated COVID differently, or if he would have been nicer to one more group of people, he would have easily won. I hate to say it, but he would have. COVID alone, if he would have just said more of what people quote unquote wanted to hear, he would have won, right? But we're agreeing that Trump is the way he is, right? Like, He's never going to do that. It's just not how he is, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that Trump chooses to be that way, or is he just compelled based on who he is on the inside? Well,
I feel like he's been pretty consistent. I mean, I think because I've seen, I never used to pay attention to him, bro. And then now that I've seen some interviews of his before he was president, before he was running, they show interviews where they ask him presidential questions from years ago. And he was way calmer. I've seen him on talk shows.
Yeah.
Where his personality is wild and out there, and they all love it. Everyone's clapping and loving him. David Letterman, all that shit.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like he's been pretty consistently raw and wild, which is why he was used to shake things up. Because again, the reason I say use is because I just don't think it was like the American people voted him in and this is what happened and da-da-da. I think there's a lot more behind it.
So go ahead.
So I was just going to say, so I kind of feel like that's who he is because I haven't seen him be any different. And then all of a sudden, now he's this type of person. He seems like he's been very consistent.
Okay. I like that answer. I like that. I see. Now let's pull out Earth, people on the earth. Are they able to be anything other than who they are on the inside?
I see where you're going. I know this is a good transition.
You like my segue? You see my segues?
Yeah, very, very good segue. Oh God, that goes into so much. me think for a second. Are they able to be anything?
Well, let's do this before you answer
so
that.
Good.
Let's do this. So let's just tell the people what we're doing here. Nestor and I talked a few weeks ago about what I think is a pretty key component of religion, a pretty key component of, for sure, the Christian religion, and that is the idea of free will.
Right.
Choice. So and I wanted to discuss on here, is free will real? So that's why I didn't want to spend too much time on politics, because I've been wanting to ask Ernest about this, and in turn y'all could listen and email in if you got any opinions, right?
Yeah.
So, and this might not even be some shit y'all are thinking about, but hopefully this is interesting. And there's no way we can break it down like we're master philosophers or whatever.
No.
But just to have a discussion. So, that's why I set it up that way with Trump, and like, is he just who he is, or is he able to choose a different thing, right? So I'm going to do it like this. Let's just start with like this. I'm going to read the definition of free will.
Okay.
Oh, no, you know what? I want to do something else. Ernest, what's your definition of free will? Without looking it up, just what do you feel like free will
Okay,
means?
so my definition of free will would be the ability to make choices out of your own desire, your own intellect.
Right.
That just come from you.
Right.
You made that decision. It was all you. It wasn't influenced necessarily or forced upon you. It was your choice.
Okay.
You have the free will to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that came from your religious background, that definition, or do you think that's just what the earth thinks, or what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I feel like before a couple of years ago, I never even thought twice about free will, whether it was real or not. It was just real. It's real. What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But also, free will is a humongous, like I said, component of Christianity for sure.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get into it. So
Yeah, I think Christianity, they believe in free will, but they also believe in destiny and things along the way that are supposed to happen, like predestination. There's a lot of belief in that.
Right. And I would say that those
and different definitions.
Those are two contradictory things that I don't believe can exist in the same space. So
yeah.
The definition of free will is the power of acting without the constraint of necessity or fate. The ability to act at one's own discretion. So it's pretty much what you said, right?
Yeah. Act at one's own discretion. Yeah.
So I wanted to hit this from a couple and then I'm gonna sound real smart in a minute when I drop some other shit on you. Right? So let's start with Christianity. We started this podcast on Christianity, so let's just keep it in that realm for a minute. I don't believe you can believe the Bible and be a Christian and actually believe that you have free will. I think it's impossible, and I think people just have cognitive dissonance, or they just lie to themselves and say that is true.
Okay.
And the reason why I think that, and I'm open to hear what any Christian has to say, what any Bible scholar, if you can somehow make it make sense, I'm willing to alter my position based on new information. But if you look at something, okay, let's go to your world. And I probably have said this before, Ernest. You are writing a script right now, right?
Yeah.
So you write the whole movie, it's done. Your investor gives you the money. Now you go hire the crew, you hire the director, then you hire the actors. The actors are handed the script, and their job is to act out and say the lines, what you wrote, and how you and the director want those lines presented, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if they got hired for a job. So at some point, it doesn't matter if they think, well, this line sucks, or this scene is weird. You know what I mean? Unless they're Will Smith coming in fucking rewriting scripts because they have Hollywood power. But still, he's rewriting a script that he's still going to say because the script is a script. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Right. So there's not, the movie is written already. And then it's acted out. And I'll take it even a step further. Once the movie's made, that's it. Unless you're Zack Snyder. Fucking, once the movie's made, and even then, that movie's made. That particular movie will never change. You're just making a new movie called Justice League.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, if you believe that an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-present everywhere at the same time God is the creator of every single fucking thing that exists, down to the fucking molecule and neutrino or whatever the fuck the smallest particle is, he's responsible for all of that. All of it. Every bit of it. Just the fact that he's all-powerful and all-knowing, if he's all-knowing, does not mean there's nothing that he can't know.
Right.
Which means he cannot be surprised by anything.
Right.
Which means he knows what choice you're going to make before you make it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
If he created all the circumstances that you live in, and he's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. That means the beginning of time, whatever, beginning of us, beginning of whatever, and the end. He's everywhere at all time. Right? Does that just mean spatially, like everywhere on the earth in the universe, or does that mean everywhere in time? He's all powerful. He's all knowing. If he's all knowing, he knows everything.
Right.
And if he is the origin of all that exists, then who the fuck really has free will? There's no free will in that scenario.
Well, but listen to this. There's a difference between knowing something and causing something to happen. Those are two completely separate things, though.
I agree, but the Christians argue for a first cause, an unmoved mover, they like to call it. Like someone, like everything that exists has a cause. This is what Christians say, right? Everything that exists has a cause, right? And you keep going back until the unmoved mover, the first cause, which they believe is God, and they believe that he exists outside of time, outside of physical realm. He's somewhere where we can't find him and nobody ever sees him, but he exists and he is the cause. So if he is the first cause, then the earth believes in cause and effect.
Right.
You know, you throw a baseball at me and I swing at it. You know, if I hit the ball, it's because of a series of causes that cause the effect of me hitting the ball. You holding the baseball, us deciding to have the game, you know, all the way back to when baseball was created, all the way back to, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you go all the way back to God as the first cause, then he did cause everything that's happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you that's a very I don't know, like a philosophical assertion. You know, like you can't talk to Christians like this at all, for one thing. But even if you presented it as a possibility, like, hey, check this out. This is what your math equals. And you took them down this whole road.
Right.
You know, I don't know that they would be able to, like, that's too far outside of the realm. It's just like how some people say, you know, if Adam and Eve didn't know good and evil, God is the one created both. He presented it to them. You know, there was that existed if he created everything, right? So that argument I've never really heard them, people talk that down. Like, well, Satan, you know, God made Satan. So isn't he the creator of evil as well? And then people go, yeah, well, Satan turned evil. Well, I mean, but to be able to even turn into something comes from some kind of creator. I mean, if there was nothing and there was God first, then everything comes from God. Okay, well, I've heard people argue this. Well, there's some things that mutate. It's just like how you can create a child and you want them to be pure, you want them to be good, you raise them that way, but they still can make a decision to be bad and evil.
Right.
But within what you're saying, no, they didn't make that decision. God made it for them. Somebody made it for them. Like, they are not choosing anything. They don't have the free will. They don't have the capacity. So there's some people that believe this on different levels. Like they believe we're in a simulation. We're a part of a video game like The Sims. You know, it's different. Like when you gave the example of the movie process, still along the way, these actors, they can improvise. They can make, you know, people try to do that on Quentin Tarantino sets. He goes in, tears them down. You got to say the words that are on the page. That's what you're being paid for. And he makes them. But still, they have what we would look at as a decision or choice not to do it. Because some people have done that. And they slid in their own words. There's stuff you can look at online now that shows improvised kisses. I was just looking at that in movies where a kiss was not planned, wasn't in the writing, and someone just did it and they left it in the movie. That comes down to like somebody's choice. But if you program a video game, that's some shit that you have ultimate control over. Even if it looks like someone's, oh man, I made it to a level that no one has and I found this thing. And guess what? Nigga, someone created that and programmed it in there. You didn't discover shit. So there's some people that don't discover a level, but it's still programmed in there. It's not like you discovered something outside of the game. It's not like the characters in the game came to life and made a decision not to run down that street. No, I'm not going to pull my weapon. They're not going to do that. They're going to do whatever your buttons cause them to do because it's been programmed like that. Now, if you look at us, either we are like that and somebody's programming us, somebody's playing each one of us like an avatar. Or it's the other side where it's like a movie that's already been made and just, you know, when you look at the movie, you feel like it's real and these actors are really that character and that's what we are inside of a movie that's already played out. There's no way to change it, right? It's either one of those two things or it could be a third thing where it's like the Matrix, where we're in this simulation, but there is something on the outside of it. It's just a lot of people don't know about it, and we are making choices and decisions that affect, but we end up usually cycling through the same one unless we break free and make our own decisions, right?
Well,
I mean that's...
That takes it a little outside of the Christianity part, but I want to get to that too. Because the video game is still got to be made by somebody, and you can't get around. You can't get around the doctrine of an all-knowing God. If you know everything, then no choice is going to surprise you. And if I know everything, and I know everything that every single person that has ever existed, ever will exist, and exists right now is going to do. And I'm the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I am everything. That's essentially what we're saying. You know, it's like all powerful, all knowing, all blah 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 blah. Right? How can you get around this idea that we don't have free will? Like I believe we have an illusion of free will. I believe it feels like free will. But I don't believe like we truly have free will. Even once we put away the religious part of it, just in regular everyday life, motherfuckers who don't fuck with church or God or whatever, I feel like we don't. So that could go into simulation or go into whatever. But in every single scenario, it's like it kind of keeps coming back to this. It's it's like an uncomfortable truth if you really think about it.
I mean, I don't believe it. I don't believe in an all-knowing, all-powerful, omnipresent God.
Right.
So I believe, this is how I believe in free will, because I feel like we were made by aliens, and I feel like that a lot of the multiverse that's out there, the different layers and the different galaxies, I believe that creatures out there or beings out there are discovering as well. Like, I don't know that I can believe in one source of every fucking thing.
Yeah.
I don't know that I believe in that unless everything is really inside of a video game type thing. And then there are architects on the outside that have just created this complex shit. And we feel like we know a lot and we this and that, and we don't know shit. And we're inside of it, and they're kind of laughing at shit and just watching how we go through life. I don't know. Or like, I guess I more feel like the vastness of everything could be real. It's just we don't. Kind of like the Prometheus thing, where those motherfuckers, you know, like, man, let's go find who made us, and then you find out, God damn it, they're just mean aliens. They don't even like what? That's our origin. Who made them? And then it just keeps going. But part of me almost feels like it's horribly empty like that, because the Christian side of it, you can just talk them out of this with this type of logic right here. Like, dude, just on the side of, I mean, this is what irritates me about like the whole human trafficking thing. Cause I would be like, dude, I got stories from kids that were crying out to God while this was going on, and no, God saved them. But I've seen, you know, some horrible people get through the justice system and thank God, like, oh, justice was won and they got out scot-free. Well, wait a minute. And then, you know, I come back to the one scripture where it goes, well, you know, the sun shines on the just as well as the unjust. Okay, I'll go with that. Yeah, it shines on both sides. But who's controlling the shining? If you're telling me I got to call this guy father, as a father, and I'm not one, but I feel this when I'm around children. I feel very protective of them, and I feel like a big uncle and a dad. It's like, I would not stand in a room watching a child get raped, knowing I had the power to fucking annihilate whoever was even thinking about this, let alone acting it out. And then I don't do it. Not only do I not rescue them that time, I don't rescue them for days at a time, maybe even weeks, months, and years. How can I be all powerful and be just? Yeah. How can you be just?
You're not.
And do that, dude. And it's almost like I'm trying to help out Christians. Like, guys, I'm trying to be on your side. This guy that we worship cannot be all. If you're going to worship this guy, you've got to look at it like, maybe he's just not all powerful. Maybe there's a lot of mysterious shit that we just don't know. And it's okay that you feel love and you feel like it's from a higher being. And it's like, maybe you want to save the universe versus how we've made this guy Santa Claus who's pulling strings and pressing buttons, because that's crazy. It's not only does it not make sense, it's very, very damaging when you just put a few pieces together and look at them. It's like, it blows your whole philosophy away, dude. Yeah. So you have to ignore it. That's what most people do. Just like with politics and everything that we're saying, you can show them evidence right in their face, and they go, no, I don't see that because I like this. Yeah. People are used to church. They're used to believing one way, and it got them comfort. They don't want to break down the philosophy of it or the fucking structure of it.
Right, right. Well, you know what? A lot of Christian philosophers now, again, to me, it's moving the goalposts, because it is what it is. But they like to say, oh, he's not all powerful. He's maximally powerful. So he has the most power possible, right? Because people say, all right, well, if he's all powerful, then tell him to create a boulder that's too heavy for him to lift.
That's a good one.
It's like, if you're all powerful, it never ends, right?
It never ends.
So either you can't lift it or you can't create it.
Yeah.
So there's a limit.
Bro, it's just safer for them to just kind of think that in the back of their head. It's the whole reason why I remember when I would go to a church and they would say, hold up your Bible. And everybody would hold up the Bible. Say this after me. And you would go, this is my Bible. It says, I have what it says I have. I am what it says I am. And, you go through this quote. And, like, one of the major things that you had to do, like, even when I went to Bible school and filling out the application and everything, you had to say that you believe God was the creator. Jesus died on the cross. All these things. Just like even, at some churches, you got to fill that out to be a member or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And some of it is like you can't question it. One of the things that I liked about Bible school is you got to raise your hand. And I was an annoying Bible school student, bro.
Yeah.
Because I was raising my hand like, I don't understand why. Because in churches, they didn't answer questions. No pastor would preach on something. That's it. And then you just walk off. Then you got this book you got to interpret on your own. Like, what the fuck is going on? And so in this case right here, this is stuff that they just glaze over, dude. It's to anybody with curiosity, I'll say. Because I'm not trying to put anybody down that doesn't come out with these questions. But anybody with curiosity, this is one of the main things that you'll ask is, wait a minute, how is God all powerful and all knowing and such happen? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's something that I would really want us to, if possible, get some believers on our show and see how they answer that. I mean, I don't want to red pill them where it fucks up their whole world, but this is stuff that a lot of people would maybe even become Christian if they understood this philosophy better. Like, how does this work, dude?
Yeah. Well, a lot of what I hear, and maybe we'll hear something different if we bring somebody on, but like a lot of what I hear is, it goes to our choice, it goes back to our free will that because of the sinful nature that we have based on Adam and Eve, the fall that trickles down, which, by the way, is not a good case for free will. If they did it and it trickled down to us and it wasn't our fault, then how is that our free choice? We never made a free choice to sin, because Adam and Eve, if they even had a free choice to sin, they did it. You ever think about that? So they're already building my case for me by saying that. But they're saying, they'll say sin and the devil and blah, blah, blah. But you're given a lot of special pleading, a lot of like allowances for a lot of shit in order to explain away these giant gaps. I'll take it even a step further. Some denominations not only believe in free will and all of this stuff, they believe in predestination, right? You know what that is, right? Now they believe that there's a selected group of people that God has specifically selected, and they are the only ones that will ever be Christians, which means a lot of people who think they're Christians are fucked. So they can live a whole life. You could live a whole life because the Bible says it. It says, you go stand before the Father, and he says, I prophesied in your name. I worshiped you my whole life. And he says, get out from in front of me, for I do not know you. Yeah. So, and then they matched that with some scripture that basically said something about 100,000 people. I think we've done past that since you wrote that shit. All of us are fucked then. We never had a chance then. Who's that 100,000? That ain't nobody. But the idea that you could believe your whole life sincerely in your heart that you're a Christian and worshiping God or whatever, and then get to the throne, he says, fuck off. He'll crush your head like the Prometheus guys. Fuck off, out of here. Bro, how is that free will?
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. Those groups.
If you have the opportunity to choose God and you choose him, and then he says, no, you didn't really make that choice. Fuck off.
Right.
I chose my group of people. And what kind of an asshole God is that?
Bro.
I'm going to create a gang of people. I'm going to create literally trillions of people if you go across all of time, maybe even more depending on how long the earth exists.
Yeah.
Trillions of people are given this judgment based on what? Adam and Eve still? Come on, man. This is not free will.
I know. That's why so much of the the heaven and hell thing is like such a tough thing, and it always has been for me, because it was like, man, I mean, people don't get the same chance as everyone, and you're like, it's almost like this whole COVID thing where they, well, you know what? COVID stops messing with people at 10 p.m. Like the weird decisions that get made seem like it was that same thing when I would bring up certain things. Ministers would go, well, I mean, the age of accountability is 12, when you almost hit teen, so if you didn't get a chance before then you're in heaven, you're safe. What?
Again,
Well, once you're this age, then you have a choice. It's like, dude, not everyone is going to hear. We're not going to hear the same gospel the same way. Even when I was at one church, you'd have a different minister come in. Seemed like he's preaching a whole different gospel.
I remember that at Oasis. Like, we bring guest speakers in, and one time this dude came in with a wild philosophy, and a gang of people were loving it. And then Pastor Phillip was respectful, let him preach, and then like the next Sunday, he was like, I want to talk about this. We don't fuck with that. Well, he didn't say that, but he was like, we don't believe in that. That's not, basically get that shit out your mind. I don't care what he said. Right. And that dude never came again.
And that's just one church. So think how many churches there are with so many different, it's like, dude, so that's what I used to look at, like how it's so unfair that people's future, where they're going to live for eternity, is based on who came in contact with them and if they got the full gospel or partial.
Exactly.
I mean, dude, this is too much, man. I know it's something exciting to keep people busy, and that's what I later came to find out. Like, this is just something that people love to do. Like, a lot of them don't care about the truth. They're not.
It's just social club.
Yeah, bro. It just makes them feel good, and that bummed me out because I was like, damn, dude, I really believed this. Like, I'm one of those diehards. I thought that this shit was real. Like, oh, no, it's not. Well, bro, I'm reading this shit. It sounds like Lord of the Rings. Yeah. But, I mean, it was like that era, and that's just from paintings and dreams mixed along with, what?
Yeah.
How is everyone doing this? Bro, just calm down. They just love it. It's like tradition. It's like Santa Claus and Christmas. Don't tell me that.
Right, exactly.
Tell me it's like Santa Claus and Christmas. Dude.
But it's real. It's Santa Claus like Christmas, but it's real. Like, I know none of it totally makes sense, but don't worry. It's real, bro. It's real.
Right. Oh, God, bro. It's
I want to shift a little bit, because religion, I feel like that's, to me, it's really hard to have an all-powerful, all-knowing, blah, blah, blah God and actually still believe in free will, even though that's like what is preached across, you were talking about different denominations, different churches, still pretty much across the board. It's like you have your free will, and God gave you free will. This is what they say. It's like when you have like the what do you call it at the end, the when they ask you if you want to get saved, the invitation. They're like, God has given you free will. You can choose to reject him, or you can choose to accept him into your heart. But if you do, you're going to go to heaven. Not only that, you're going to have a little bit of heaven on earth, because God is going to. So that's across the board. I don't really hear any other churches saying it a different way, no matter what they believe in the back. And it's almost like those predestination church. Why do you even do an invitation? You're like, hey, whatever will be. Here's your invitation. Whoever God picked, I can't say who it is of y'all. Hopefully,
that's scary.
Hopefully, but still give us your money and still keep coming to church, and let's keep trying, and hopefully some of us make it.
And that works. The fact that works for people, bro.
There's whole denominations that believe their denomination is that group. They're like, oh yeah, our denomination is the right one. There's lots of groups like that. They're like, yeah, those people, that's us. Like the, like, I don't know. I'm
like the remnant. They feel like they're the last and only, the chosen. Yeah.
I mean,
chosen ones.
It's pretty arrogant. But anyway, outside of religion, right?
Right.
I remember first hearing about this concept, like this philosophical concept, right? And it fucking blew my mind, and it was so hard to understand. I don't know if I even still understand it, right? And it's like, once I heard about it, I started seeking out more like people speaking on it or like looking it up, because it was really hard to understand, right? For me for a long time. And that is the philosophical idea of determinism. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Right. So I'll just read the definition, and then I just want to talk about it a little bit, because it's the opposite of free will, basically.
Yeah.
Right? So determinism is the doctrine that all events, including human action, are ultimately determined by causes external to the will. Some philosophers have taken determinism to imply that individual human beings have no free will and cannot be held morally responsible for their actions. Well, I don't even know if I'll go that far to say that. But essentially what determinism is saying is that there are many contributing factors to, let's just take a humans, like you like, for example, if you shoot a gun at a window, it's cause and effect. The bullet's going to go through the glass. And if for some reason it doesn't, it hits at a certain angle or whatever, it was always predetermined. It was determined that angle would not cause that glass to break or whatever, right? But it's all cause and effect. Then you put it into the humans and our choices and our decisions we make and shit. Determinism is basically saying like everything that makes you, whether internally or externally, is going to lead you to the decisions you make. Right? So the way you were raised, the environment that you were raised in, basically every if you go all the way back, you could go down to the fucking DNA and the, atoms and molecules and shit. All of that leads up to whatever you are going to do as far as your choice, which direction you're going to go, whatever your presumed free will is. It's not really, right? So, for example, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Well, I guess I struggle with this for a long time because I was like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, how can I not be choosing what I'm choosing? And some people, they'll counter it and they'll say, well, okay, we can agree that everything outside of a human being can be deterministic, right? Like, yeah, the earth runs like that. Like, if you hit somebody, like the physical world, if you hit somebody with a car, they're going to get hurt on some level, depending on how fast you're going. If you drop a glass, it's either going to break or something's going to happen. Like, something always happens when something else happens, right? But they say, but now we're talking about what your thoughts, this abstract thing that doesn't exist in the physical, right? Mm-hmm. You can start another chain of events based on your free will, based on your thoughts, right?
Right.
So imagine now, like, I'm sitting here and I just think, like, I'm going to burn this office that I'm sitting in. And I'm going to start a new chain of events inside of my brain. Right? And so some people, that's how they counter determinism. And they say, yeah, of course, all this stuff works. The earth works how it works, cause and effect. But guess what? I can sit here and think in my brain something new and go do it and now I've made a free will choice. Right? Yeah. There's a problem with that. There's a few problems with that. One, your thoughts and your inner monologue and all of that comes from what? A physical brain. So a physical brain has a cause. It was created by two people who decided to make you as a baby, and your brain was created. So that already starts with a cause, right? And then the thoughts you think are determined by everything that you are, and everything that you are has been determined by your life experience, how you were raised, the parents you had, the country you live in. All of these things are contributing factors to making you be you. That's why when I said, could Donald Trump be anybody but himself? And most people would say, we have free will, but he is who he is, so of course he's going to be that way. So yeah, you could say.
But it sounds like determinism is just another word for like nature, like a person's nature or the origin of things. Like I'm getting mixed up on words, because when I think of free will, even everything that you're describing that determinism says, it's like an overall. Well, you made this decision because you were born in this area. Blah, blah. Okay, yeah, but that's like you're saying that because of my nature, that's my nature is this way because of my origin. But I still have a decision that I could do this or do that. Because how I look at it, this is just, again, me. Mm-hmm. My environment was the hood. I grew up in Inglewood. I was born and raised in Inglewood. And I know a gang of people that were born and raised in Inglewood. And they were also raised in a single parent household, like with just a mom like me. Right. I was raised with my mom and my grandma. I knew a bunch of us that were like that. And I know some that the nature of these dudes was more violent than me. There were some that were more nerdy than me, but were so oppressed during that time, they became violent and became gangbangers and wild out. And you saw them later like, dude, you were so corny in junior high. We used to hang out and play and da-da-da. And now this nigga's gangbanging. So, I mean, when I look at it in a broad sense, people can come from the same area, be raised the same, similar, maybe. Mm-hmm. Seem like all black parents to an extent were Christians or saying, you got to go to church, you need to pray. That stereotypical thing. I kind of lived around that. I didn't become that. I made choices. Even when I was about to get jumped into a gang, at the last minute on that day, I decided, no, it was a Cholo gang. They were going to jump me in, and my buddy, who was vouching for me to even get me jumped in, to be like one of the only black dudes in this all Mexican gang, I had to tell him, dude, I'm afraid for my grandmama and my mom's life. I don't want to bring this type of shit onto them, dude. And I feel like niggas following me home and all this wild stuff, if they get killed, I can't handle it. And he was like, I got you, bro. It's all good. And he got me out of that situation. Yeah. Because he was an OG. And I'm thinking, did I now make that decision? You know what I mean? Like when I look at these different things, it's like
you did make a choice, but you have to think, like, did that choice originate strictly inside of you with no outer influences? And it didn't. Yeah, you thought about your grandma, you thought about your mom, you thought about a lot of things. Right. And all of that contributed to what decision you made. And those are all external things. Yeah, and the fact that you even wanted to make the decision was based on something that wasn't implanted in you, whether that was from your mom and grandma or from church, or I don't know if you were in church by at that time, but something. But it still sounds like those are two separate things, because we're talking about the origin of something versus the decision. If you're saying free will, I don't believe free will has to do with no outside influence, because we're on this planet. We have everything we do is by influence somehow, positive, negative, but we still determinism. That's determinism. Well, to me, determinism has free will in it, because still you are deciding to make a decision. When you say predestined, that to me, the definition of that means this was already determined and it can't be swayed no matter if you have a decision or not. You can want something to not end up being a certain way, and it's like, oh no, it's predestined to happen. That's how a lot of people believe in a lot of little pockets of life things are. Oh no, this is already, nope, we already won this. This is already taken care of. This is already like determined beforehand. So no matter what you do, you can't stop this from happening. Mm-hmm. I feel like there are things that, oh yeah, we can stop it. If we all make a decision to do a specific thing, we can turn this whole thing around. And then there's some things that are already designed, like, no, nigga, they paid these people off. This game is thrown. This team wins. No, I can get out there and, bro, you're not going to be able to. They're going to call it. The score, it's already been, people been paid off. It's already done, dude. It's over. Right. What?
You know what I mean? Like, that's my whole confusion with it. I think
Right.
that there's...
I'm not sitting here acting like I have it all figured out, but
I know you're not. I know you're not. I'm just,
listening to what you're saying. It's all, there's so many external forces contributing to every single thing.
Yeah.
That you're talking about. You know what I mean? If somebody paid off somebody, that's cause and effect.
Right.
And that was a decision. And there's plenty of people that say, my free will, I'm going to go out and make this thing happen, and it doesn't happen.
True.
Right? And there's plenty of people that it wasn't their free will. They weren't even thinking about that. And some shit falls in their lap. I'm like, oh shit, I'm a fucking millionaire now or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you've heard stories of actors like, I was going to school for fucking accounting. And then somebody just came up to me and I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll try it. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, so there's a fucking gazillion scenarios and different ways you could take this, right? There's all kinds of, but it's hard to get away from the fact that it just keeps coming back to some sort of influence, some sort of some sort of thing that determines how you're going to choose. And the fact that you chose the way you chose, there's nothing on the other side of that. So it did happen that way. And it was based on all these things behind us. So it's hard to not say that it was always meant to be that way, right? It's like, I don't know,
dude. See, because here's what I think when I hear free will, I think, okay, what's the opposite of free will is control. So I look at those very, very basic. Like I guess I don't have an intricacy that I dig into each one of them. It seems like there's either free will or the opposite. There's not free will, and it's like someone controlling you like a joystick in a video game. But one or the other. So then I feel like what determines the difference is one of those motherfuckers is choosing. There's free will of the joystick person and no free will of the video game person, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then there's the side of like where I feel like we are deciding things every single day. We're deciding things, and that's out of free will. I mean, that's that's how.
If those are your two standards, free will and control, then I would say I can understand why it's easy to say, no, we have free will. Like I can get up and do whatever I want in this room right now because no one is like directly controlling me, right?
Right.
But something is controlling me to not burn this fucking place down. And I could pretend like it came from on the inside of me, but there's plenty of people that would burn this place down. And why would they do that and I wouldn't? Right? Something determines that.
Yeah, but think of this. You have the free will to do it. Just because you're not doing it, to me, proves that you have free will, right? Because you are able to do it. Able is one thing.
You have the illusion of free will because you have to take into account that everything contributes to how a person's going to decide. Like me, the way I was raised, I can see it in a lot of ways when I see what other people do. Mm-hmm. And I say, I would never do that. But and I also see like where even inside of myself where in my brain, I want to be a certain way. I want to excel in a certain area, or I want to do certain things, goals and stuff. And I see myself hitting wall. And I can like reach deep within and I could change. And in a lot of ways I have done that. But my only question is, even that, where does that come from? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see...
And the simple fact that our brains are created, that our brains are physical matter that generates the thoughts that we think, already shows that there's at least one cause, at least one piece of determinism that was determined without our control.
Right.
The fact that we're created. We didn't consent to be born. We didn't choose to be born. We didn't determine for ourselves that we will be born and we're going to come to this planet. That was out of our control. So someone created the body, the brain, all of it.
Right.
And then so there's already at least one cause that's like outside of us that is affecting us. I mean, I just thought it was, this is really, I'm still trying to grapple with it.
I know. It's a lot, dude.
No,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think without sounding like God is maximally powerful. It's like, I think we have the freest will that is possible. I know I sound like one of those guys by saying that, but I do believe for sure we fully have the illusion of free will, for sure. Like, it does feel like I choose what I want to do, and I make plans, and I write down goals, and I go after those goals, and blah, blah, blah. And I am doing that. I am making choices. I am doing all that. But am I doing it within this realm of shit that's been determined for me already, based on who my parents are, all the stuff we listed, all the way to the universe and down to every fucking molecule, every goddamn space particle that created the goddamn planet, right?
Yeah.
All of that was contributing factors to who I became. So I can get up tomorrow morning and I can either choose to run or not run. I could choose to eat fucking cake for breakfast or broccoli or whatever. Yeah. And those are all choices I can make. But how I will choose and what decision I will make now comes not only from me strictly. It comes from me plus.
Now that, okay, I get that. That sounds like, if that's what determinism is, then determinism is just, it's like an origin-based thing. It's just like, you are where you are because of these reasons. Now that I understand, but if determinism is trying to say determinism is something in place of free will, that's where I'm completely mixed up, because it sounds like even within determinism, there is your free will. It's just like when you say, is it your will? Yeah, I'm making choices. But what are they based on? Well, that's two separate and distinct things to me. Because if I'm able to do something and I'm choosing to do it, then that's all that is. But if we get into, but why did you make that choice? Then I get the whole determinism thing where it comes from. Right. Okay, check this segue, bro. This is a crazy one, and I was going to bring this up another time. I think I brought it up to you before. I wish I had the poster, like the words where I could read exactly, because I got pulled into a crazy ass conversation online when someone posted just a simple thing about something like, just remember, it's all you. You decided who your parents were, when you were going to be born, and named all this stuff. And then I saw people praising that post like, yes, that's right. We got to remember that. It's all us. We made the choice. And then I saw some people jumping in going, the fuck are you talking about? I didn't choose this time. And then I realized, that's not just a philosophy. That's in some people's religion. Like, they believe that. And I don't.
That's The Secret and Law of Attraction and stuff like that. There's people who write books, and they feel that they say that they don't write the books. They channel them from whoever, and it's the collective conscious. And we all go back to that conscience, and then we choose when we want to be born again and all of this. Okay, listen.
That's
a whole other show.
Instead of us getting into this let's put a cap on it and hop back into it, because I want to be able to read that and even look at a couple of religions that I think, because I don't want to misquote a religion and someone go, no, we don't believe that. I'd rather go, no, this is in their, whole thing. And let's jump back on this topic, because that's a big one, dude. There's a lot of people that believe that.
I know. And I'll share my experiences with you too, because I'll just give you guys all a preview. One of the reasons why, there's a few reasons why I initially backed out of coaching, life coaching and success coaching. And what you're touching on right now is one of them, because the school I went to was huge on this. And I had real trouble. I had to come to grips of how I could approach it without all that bullshit, and how it could work for me. And I'm just now even coming back around where, like, I can feel confident presenting, people with some ideas that are not fucking insane. So I'll leave it at that. And I'll share more with you guys next week too, because I've read mad books about this shit.
Dude.
I'm ready to name drop on some motherfuckers.
Okay, good.
And what's funny is, and we'll say it's just like all religions and all ideas on the fucking planet, all politics, Democrat, everything. There's always like a bit of truth. There's always a principle or many principles that you can use out of all of this shit that works, including what we're going to talk about next week, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you throw most of the baby out with the bathwater, but maybe you keep a toenail or something that's not fucking insane. You know what I mean?
It's not insane. Right.
But with this, with free will versus determinism versus whatever, and we didn't even get into it because I mean, we could talk about even the show Devs, and that was all about free will versus determinism.
Bro.
And all Homeboy wanted to do was prove determinism so he could be off the hook for killing his wife, right?
Yeah.
That's huge. We could go there.
That's so huge.
And that was a really good show. And I watched it and I was like, yeah, but nah. She was always going to make that decision. But anyway, whatever. So this is good. I want to talk about what you brought up just now.
Okay.
Next week, but also fucking search party. Let's hit it. Let's do it. Email us, ReallyThoPodcast@gmail.com. I think this is a hot issue. I think people should chime in. Because there's going to be people most people probably against what I said today. And I don't know. I'm still grappling with a lot of it, but I'm falling on that side of determinism more than ever. But anyway, ReallyThoPodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up, search party. You know what I'm saying? Click the link. Get the t-shirts. You know, we got these fly ass t-shirts. You know what I mean? If you were watching YouTube, you see it. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Nesto, we got anything else for him before we let him go?
No, bro. I think this is good, man.
That's good, man.
This is a good one.
I can't wait to talk about what you said next week. Ooh.
Bro, I was so heated, dude.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, because that's highly problematic. And we'll get into it next week. The secret, law of attraction, all that shit, man. I got a lot to say about that.
Sweet.
All right, man. So I guess we out of here.
All good. Peace.
The point cannot be explained in words.